Now, on one of your recent episodes of the Athlon podcast, I wouldn't say you were very careful with your words. So I don't know even know how to ask this question, but you talked about Bryan Harsin and what you think the thought process is down there. Can you kind of rehash that and what you think is essentially going to happen in the next year there on the plains?
Uh, I mean, to me, I was shocked that they brought him back, but I also was shocked that they were trying to fire him in the first place. But then I'm not shocked by any of it because it's Auburn. So what you have to look at is just sort of use some logic. And I think the buyout goes down on January 1st, I believe. It goes down after the Iron Bowl, but not a lot. It goes down again, I believe, after the calendar year ends. And then of course you also give yourself 10 or 11 months to sort of line up in try to conduct a process, professionally, which again sometimes is difficult for Auburn. But Harsin is a really good coach. Auburn's a great program. They just probably don't work together, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that Auburn gave him a fair shake, so Auburn deserves a lot of blame in some of this. At least not the university necessarily, but the boosters and the power brokers that probably love being in control of the program more than they might actually love the program itself. And so that's again, I think it's unfortunate because he got that job and half the boosters already wanted him fired. They didn't want him to be hired, and so he was sort of like they were looking for ways, and you lose 4 or 5 straight games. Man, I would have been so. Had they held on and beat Alabama, I would love to know what Auburn fans would have done this offseason, because would it have felt different? Well, no, wait a second. He did something no one else could do. He beat Alabama. Like, would we be knocked him out of the championship game in theory? So what would we be saying? What would Auburn fans be saying about Harsin if they just gotten one stop on one drive? Like, I mean, they had Bama beat. So I think he's gone at the end of the year. I don't know who the right person is for the job. Billy Napier said no. And now I think he's the right guy at Florida, and he did that for a reason. He didn't want to deal with all the extracurriculars. So I don't know what's going to happen down there. I would like to believe that making a hire in January of next year versus February of this year would be a more professional and more coordinated and organized process for Auburn, and that alone might be worth it, not to mention how much money you save on the buyout. So
Mm-hmm.
he'll coach this year. We'll see what he does, but like if he doesn't recruit great and win 10 games, like he's gone, in my opinion.